In this installment, we'll look at Eka Pada Galavasana, an arm balance with a hip opener. And this is often called flying pigeon. It's named after the sage Galava. And my 3 tips for this pose are 2, 1, find Bakasana, which is often translated as crow pose, can also be translated as crane pose. Tip number 2 is stretch your hips. Tip number 3 is lean forward and kick up. So let's dive in. So Bakasana, crow pose, crane pose. There are a few things that are really important about this shape. First off, you can start with your feet together or your feet apart in a squat. The most important thing is that you can you have leverage to hook your arms in front of your shins. Right? You can also start a little bit higher and hook your arms in front of your shins. So I'll start here with the feet wide. You'll hook your arms in front of your shins, place your hands down. You'll lift your hips up, lift your heels high, and rock your weight forward into your hands. Okay, pressing down away from the floor, you really want to think of rounding and puffing your spine up between your shoulder blades. Then, keeping your elbows bent, you'll look forward and lean forward until you feel your weight come more toward your fingertips. Keep rounding your upper back. As you lift your feet up, if they're apart, bring them together, suck them together. And then, lower down out of it if you're still in. Maybe sit down, stretch your legs forward. Wiggle them out a little bit. Okay, Bakasana is the foundation of a lot of arm balancing poses, and it directly applies to and helps Eka Pada Galavasana. Next, tip 2, stretch your hips. So this can be done one of 2 ways. Way number 1, lying down on your back. You'll come into a figure 4 shape, hooking your right ankle over the top of your left thigh. Lift your legs up, and release your fingers on the back of your left thigh, and let's take a couple breaths here. And then you'll switch sides. Hooking your left ankle over the top of your right thigh. And release your fingers on the back of your right thigh and hug your legs in. And then you'll make your way out of this side. And then sit up however you'd like. Number 2 way to stretch your hips. So number 2 tip, and this is the second way of doing it. Place your blocks standing tall. Bend your knees. Lift your right leg up and hook your right ankle over the top of your thigh. So same leg position. You'll fold forward, bringing your hands down to blocks. The blocks can be at any level. And in fact, for this pose, it's helpful to see if you can get to at least blocks at the flattest setting, just like I have them here. If you have the flexibility to get your hands down to blocks in this flat shape, then you can proceed further into the pose. If you can't get down this deep, I wouldn't go after it right now. And keep on working on the hip stretch until you can get your hands closer to the floor. And then flip your blocks back up to the highest setting. Place your hands on your hips, stand up. Lower your right foot down. Bend your knees. Lift your left leg up. Hook your left ankle over the top of your right thigh. Fold forward and bring your hands down onto blocks. Again, just being really kind to the body and noticing where the body is saying, that's enough, stretch. And also gauging whether or not we want to proceed further and work toward the arm balance. And you want to get your hands at least to this low setting, and even ideally be able to get fingertips or palms flat on the floor. And you can leave your blocks in the position that they're in, and then place your hands on your hips, stand up, lower your left foot down. So the entrance into this pose comes from this standing figure 4 stretch that we just did. You'll hook your arms across the front shin, lay your hands on the floor, lean forward and come into a position that's kind of like Bakasana with the funky figure 4 shape in your legs. And then the last piece, tip number 3, is to kick up and kick back with the back leg. So here's what that looks like. So I'll show the first side with the blocks, and then I'll show the second side without the blocks. You choose what works best for you. So with the blocks, you want them on the lowest setting. You'll step behind the blocks, bend your knees, hook your right ankle over the top of your left thigh, fold forward, and bring your hands down onto blocks or the floor if it's easy to get there. Okay, now lift the back heel. You're going to use a bending of the back knee to guide your shin up to your upper arms. Closer you can get to your armpits, the better. And then you'll flex your right toes around your upper left arm. Leaning forward, press down away from the floor. Puff your spine up between your shoulder blades just like you did in crane pose. Look forward, lean forward. And then just like you did in crow or crane pose, lift the back foot up away from the floor. Then, pressing down with your shin into your upper arms, this is where you start to kick back and up with the back leg. And then you'll come down and stand up. Whew. And then go to the second side. This time around, I'm going to show without the blocks. Same principles apply. It's just if it's easy enough to get your hands down to the floor, that's what you'll do. Bend your knees, lift your left leg up, hook your left ankle over the top of your right thigh, fold forward, bring your hands down to blocks or to the floor. Now if your hands are on the floor, it's more likely than not that you'll start on fingertips and then eventually you'll flatten the palms. Lift your right heel up this time. Lean forward, bringing your shin into your arm. So bending your right knee and using the back leg to guide your shin into your upper arms. Then flex your left foot around your upper right arm. Flatten your palms if you haven't already. Then press down away from the floor, puff your spine up between your shoulder blades, lean forward. Pick your right foot up. Keep on pressing down into your upper arms with your left shin, and then kick back and up with the back leg. Okay, make your way up. And sit down. Take a rest. So those are my 3 tips for the arm balance. Eka Pada Galavasana. And I hope they help.